It's a very good question because injuries sometimes are career ending. Probably because of the success stories we have had and a lot of role models like Gavaskar and Tendulkar and Kapil Devs and MS Dhoni.
Exactly.
So cricket has evolved being a very sedentary, sedate sport to now a high intensity T20 level sport. The Olympics happens, we see the medal tally and our country is not there on the top and somewhere languishing at the bottom, say 50th or 60th position.
Here at CSS, Sri Ramachandra CSS, we have one of its kind in India, and we see a lot of athletes, a lot of players, a lot of players from different sports coming in and getting training for their specified injuries, or let it be problems or corrections or whatever it may be. This idea of setting up this entire setup, as in the entire thing, comes from this small thing called science behind a sport. So how it is enhanced to the sport, because we see a different discipline of sports. So let it be weightlifting, boxing, cricket, whatever it may be, any sports in athletic level of this thing. So what does it take to for a player to come here and get themselves enhanced?
See, in schools, we have exams.
Yes.
Why should we have exams?
Exactly.
To know the status of the student and then to prepare for the excellence. What we cannot measure, we cannot monitor. What we cannot monitor, we cannot improve.
Definitely.
That's the base of science.
Right.
So we want to measure things in sports persons using scientific technique. Once we measure, we know what are the strengths, what are the weakness of the particular athlete, as you said, from different sports. Different sports have different demands on the body. Like the marathoner, he has a different demand, whereas a weightlifter, his shape itself will be different,
Right.
and his capacity, his muscle distribution, everything is different. Depending on this, we measure the athlete's capacities and we suggest them the methods, the means and ways how to improve through nutrition, through psychology, through biomechanics, through physiology. So that is the base of scientific assessments.
Okay. I mean, you reminded me of my school days, because when I was in my school, I used to play handball. I met with a small injury, so after which I couldn't pursue a lot of sports in my age of time. So when there is an injury, how is it treated here, and what level of injury or what level of corrections do they come here?
It's a very good question because injuries sometimes are career ending. If you see cricket now, emerging, promising fast bowlers, they come bowl at 150, 155, and suddenly you hear that they are having a back pain, they are undergoing scans, and they are out of the picture for many months, 2 years. Sometimes they disappear also. And even when they come back, their effectivity, the speed is not the same. So that is why the injuries have to be diagnosed early, treated properly, and then the return to sports has to be in a methodical, scientific way. So that is what we do here with a team of doctors, physios, trainers, and other experts are associated at the field level itself with the athletes, right? We travel with the athletes, our doctors and physios and other experts. For Chennai FC or cricket team, we travel with the athlete and pick up the injuries there itself and then assess whether he can continue to play the game or he should stop, whether he needs x-rays, MRIs, and whether he needs a rest only or treatment, whether he needs surgery. So this is all scientifically decided. Once it's properly decided and proper treatment done and proper rehab and proper return to sports is done, sometimes the athletes come back stronger than before.
Multi-purpose hall, and we see a lot of biometric process to enter this place. So we are not supposed to wear slippers. There are some biometric things to enter this place. Why so much security, sir?
Because the floor and equipment, everything is very sophisticated here. And the athletes, elite athletes, when they come, they need security.
Definitely.
So you have security systems in place. People like MSD, when they come, obviously there's a lot of fan following. You have to have good security and good ambience and international standards of infrastructure.
It is actually enthralling for me to listen and understand that MS Dhoni was here for his corrections or injury or whatever it is. So he was here to get his get his game started. So, I mean, not only MS Dhoni, apart from MS Dhoni, we could hear big names from Indian team and world cricket for being here to get their sport correct. So, on that note, how is this center of excellence set up? How is this setup being made?
It's a bit of a long story, but to cut it short, explored the option of creating an international standard center that is there in US or UK or in Australia, and had explored, our director and our high officials had explored these countries, and then we had a good relationship and tie up with South African Institute of Sports Science. They have a similar center. They are very good in sports science. Taken a technical know-how from them to how to build a center and equip it, and then how do we do the sports science assessments and training, all these operations. So initially we had a hand-holding from foreign experts. 2014 we started, and now we are on our own. Not only in sports-related medical and science services, but we also offer education, and we do a lot of research also. It's one of the premier center for sports education, sports research. Coming back to players and teams, elite teams, yes, many people like MSD come here sometimes for training, sometimes to accompany their teams. And some of them, the National Cricket Academy, NCA of BCCI, it operated from here for some times. So we had all the players coming in. Even now the BCCI's leading players and bowlers come here for assessments.
Okay, that's great.
And not only that, many Olympians also.
That's great. That's great. So, how do you see this game of cricket, sir? Because since it's a non-contact sport and people are going crazy, still we see every street has a promising cricketer within it. So, every streets have produced promising cricketers to the country. So, how do you see the sport in general?
See, like sports, sometimes they can become a part of the culture of a country.
Definitely.
Like how football is to Brazil. I think so cricket has become a part of our lives and part of the culture of India. Probably because of the success stories we have had and a lot of role models like Gavaskar and Tendulkar and Kapil Devs and MS Dhoni.
Exactly.
That is why many people tend to role model themselves. It is probably not only about this achievements in sports or excellence or the awards that or the money that you get it from it, but basically from the happiness and sense of achievement.
The passion for the sport.
Passion, yes, right. So, and gratification also. That is why I think many people are into cricket and doing well. Also, cricket is a well established and well administered sport with various leagues, and now IPL is capturing the imagination of many millions, right from a child to grandma and grandpa. They are glued to it and following it up. So cricket has evolved being a very sedentary, sedate sport to now a high intensity T20 level sport where a lot of contacts do happen, because when you run and take a catch and fall down and you try to collide with some people. So it has become a high intensity sport now.
Right. Okay.
So that is where the demands of sports science also come in, as we discussed, for performance as well as for injury prevention.
Right. So we have different markings over here. So like we have yellow color, blue color, black, red, and light blue and dark blue. So how do you differentiate this different? How do you have a marking for different games?
So as we mentioned, it's a multi-purpose indoor arena. So when you see the light blue colors, it is meant for badminton.
Okay, so this blue.
Yeah.
Which is this?
Yes. So similarly, when you put the nets and the posts, you get the delineation, and the athletes get oriented. And we conduct here mainly the skill-based assessments, not the full-length games. So maybe for a few minutes they'll play, and we'll videograph and see. The coach will see, our sports scientists will see them in action. So it's more of a short terms of play. And of course, they can do practice. We have some cricket indoor nets also, but it's predominantly for assessments. So by placing the nets and the posts, you can differentiate. And when you start playing, the athlete only sees the yellow line or the blue line. So that's the focus.
It's more like railway tracks. In spite of there being so much tracks, you see the
train will go on the
right track.
Right track.
Right. Okay. Okay, so we have different sets of markings over here. So what and all sports are being played here, and what and all players? I mean, players from what background do they come?
See, mainly this entire project is built with a vision to help India to become a sports superpower. Of course, we only cannot do that, along with the governments, the sports ministries, the sports associations, and the player associations. So it's a ecosystem. It's a good hub. For that, not only the sports players and coaches are required. We need support staff also. They need education programs, training programs. So that is why we built a hub wherein the sports medicine, sports science services can be done. Also, we can conduct education programs and research training programs in one place. So we have the advantage of having the university, having the hospital here, as well as the sports science center, and some important fields of play like hockey, rowing, cricket, and other fields. So the primary aim is to do the scientific and sports medicine services to the athletes and teams, and thereby uh, try to achieve more. Our vision, probably to say in a single sentence, to get India more Olympic gold medals.
Right. Definitely.
Because that is where, when the Olympics happens, we see the medal tally and our country is not there on the top and somewhere languishing at the bottom, say 50th or 60th position. And even smaller countries are there on the top. But we have all the talents and all the infrastructure necessary also, maybe not some infrastructure like advanced countries, but definitely we can do better. So, and science is one instrument which we can do that, and a lot of new schemes, new initiatives have been put in by the governments, both at the center and at the state levels, and even the interest in sports with our children is now more, and the average affordability of the middle class, if you can call it, person is also more, so that they can devote I mean the money or time for sports. And these are the multiple factors which are going to make India definitely a sports superpower
Okay.
very soon.
Definitely, sir. We are hoping India should be a superpower in sports, and someday we could compete with the top five countries in the Olympic medal tally. So, on that note, so I would like you to take to the top position where India is at the top, the cricket. So, let's talk more about cricket and the allied positions. Thank you so much for answering all my questions and
Welcome.
sparing
Thank
your
you.
time.
It's a
Thank you,
pleasure.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.